She's working on English right now. So, mostly different African dialects and languages. So, at Ruskin, we are very fortunate to have a very diverse population. We have some refugees here. We have families that have immigrated into our area. So we have a very diverse population, which is wonderful because we learn a lot from each other.
I appreciate those excited.
We have just in Uganda, we have over 150 dialects, roughly, and all of children in Uganda speak more than one language. Some children, even though the national language in Uganda is English, they all have a native tongue. Every child in Uganda comes from what they call a clan, which is a big family of their nation, their origin. Okay, and so they call them tribes. In Africa, we have families that are called tribes. And so each tribe has a different name. And each tribe has a different language. So all of our students in Uganda speak their tribal language, plus they speak the national language of English, which they are taught from day one of first grade. And then they also speak 4 or 5 other different languages of other tribes. So it is in their genes to be able to learn more than one language at a time. So it's not surprising to me that your students there speaks 5 different languages, because it is very normal for a child in Uganda or in an African country to speak more than one language.
That's amazing. Amazing. Okay, what is your name? What is it? Demir. Demir has a question. There you are, Demir. Wave hi, Demir.
Wave hi, Demir.
Demir, what's your question?
What time do you get out of school?
What time do you leave school? And what are your school hours?
What time do you get out of school?
How many hours are you in school?
5. At 5 p.m. 5 p.m.
When do you go? When does it start?
It starts at 7 a.m. in the morning.
Our school day is 7.25 hours. And we start at about 7:15, and that's 7:30 is when we start letting students in, and 8 o'clock is when our school day begins. And then we leave here at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
What? That's a short day.
Yep. We do have after-school programs that a lot of us participate in. And so a lot of students might have, and the after-school programs might stay here as late as 5 or 6 o'clock.
Wow.
Do you have a question? Any more questions for us? I have a lot of hands raised, but we want to make sure we get to it.
I just want to say one thing about school in Uganda. Like I said before, school is a privilege. And so our students don't even want to come home from school because they are so absorbed of trying to learn as much as they can learn. And they're so grateful to have an opportunity to stay from 7 o'clock in the morning until 5 at night.
That is so interesting to hear, because we have students here that sometimes don't feel like they should have to go to school, or they miss the point of being in school. And so there's such a difference between students that have to work hard and pay money for their education compared to some of the students who are forced to come to school every day. So I think that it's of great knowledge to us to know how hard you fight for your schooling, and what you do to make sure that you're educated, and that we have it lucky here in the sense that all of us are educated. So That's such, we're going to take that part, aren't we, in 6th grade? Are we 5th and 6th grade? Okay, we have a question. What's the next one? Isaiah has a question.
Nice name.
What's your question, Susan? How many days are what? The same that it's here. Yeah, same that it's here. Let's go over Ashton, stand up. Ashton's wearing bright yellow.
Okay.
Ashton, what's your question? Which question?
My question is,
Your cotton headline.
do you guys got recess at your school?
Dot.
Do you guys get recess?
Have.
Do you guys
Do you
have
have
recess?
Recess. Do you know what recess is?
recess is going outside and having outside activities, playtime. Do you have that? Yes, they do.
Be sad.
Okay, Shania has a question. Freedom. She's talking about freedom.
Absolutely not.
That's a very good question.
Yes, it is. We have a lot of rules and we have to follow all of the rules.
What type of government do you have? Are you a
Democracy.
We have local government, we have government that runs everything.
that tells everybody what to do?
Yes.
Are you allowed to vote on anything?
We can vote a president, but most of the time, to be honest with you, most of the time, the voting system is rigged here. There's a lot of corruption in our government.
Okay, magic unicorn girl, white shirt. What's your name? What is it? Rhiannon. She's wearing white. All right, what's your question, Rhiannon? We can't hear. You're not talking. There's too many people in here. Okay.
What places and things make your country unique?
So what are some unique things about your country? Different.
What things do you have that's different, that is unique about your country? What do you think is unique about your country? I think for them, they've never seen America, so they don't know anything about America. And so I can give you some things that are different. Some unique things about Uganda is that we have animals that run the streets freely, like goats and cows and
Fifth and sixth grade, she can't talk if you're talking.
I told you this before, what is different about your country and our country is that we live off of the food of the land. If we do not work, we do not eat. All of the children in Uganda they learn to dig in the garden when they're very young, and they make sure that they dig for their families to eat. Something that is different about our country than yours is we don't have refrigerators. We don't have stoves. We have a little charcoal hibachi that we cook all of our food on. And it's just made charcoal. It's called a sigili. And we do not have stoves like you do.
That is pretty unique. Did you hear what she was saying in 5th and 6th grade? Yeah. Okay. Do you have a question for us?
Do you have a question? What about you, Lisa? Do you have a question? What is it? Okay. She wants to know, what is the name of your president?
Our president that just came, that was just inaugurated in last month, is President Donald Trump. He is very, if you notice, in America, we're allowed to give our opinions about people, including the President of the United States.
He does suck, man.
You know what? I'm going to start asking people to leave.
Let me tell you something that is unique about Uganda. In Uganda, we respect all of our elders, all of our teachers, and if our teachers say be quiet, we do not talk. Because we are honorable people here.
So our president, which was just inaugurated into office, is Donald Trump. Our president that just left office, his name was Barack Obama. So we just had elections. We just had our elections come up, and so voting is very important to us in America, or a lot of us. So.
We are not allowed to say anything negative about our president. It is against the law. We can get thrown in jail for that. It's called treason.
I think, just from my point of view, is this election has brought to light a lot of people who feel like their voice in this matter matters a little bit more. So the decline in respect for our president has really fallen during this election. So, but we are definitely not thrown in jail or tried with treason if we say something negative about our president. We are if we threaten the president or threaten his life or something along those lines, we can get thrown in jail and tried.
Wow.
But saying negative, we have freedom of speech, so we are allowed to say whatever we want about whoever we want. Okay.
Do you have another question?
Leo in the gray. Leo, stand up. There you go.
Why do you have a chicken on your flag? Whatever the animal is.
They want to know why you have a chicken on your flag or a rooster.
That'd be embarrassing.
It's called a Ugandan crane. It's a crane. It's a bird. It is a crane. It is our state bird.
It's your state bird.
Every country has its own bird, and that is our country bird.
I know my country bird is a cardinal. I know our country bird.
What is our country bird?
Our country bird is a cardinal.
Our state bird is a cardinal. It's a red bird. Well, the male is red. And our country's bird is a bald eagle.
Bald eagle.
Okay, let me tell you one thing that is different about America than it is Uganda. We live in Africa, which is a continent, and we do not have states. We have countries within our continent of Africa. But in America, you have one country and you have states as big as our countries.
That's correct. Yes, Uganda, we actually looked up the population yesterday in class, and Uganda we found out was about, according to the internet, about 40 million people. And the United States is about 350 million people.
Yeah, I want to tell you that is way under an estimation because the average family, I could go into some details, but you have some young people there. The average family has about 10 to 14 to 15 children.
Close your mouth. Stand down. Okay. So I would say, and I'm guessing here, but mostly in Dayton, Ohio, the average family is about 2 children per household. Sometimes, we 4 children. If we have 5 or 6, that's a lot. So,
I think the difference is
6th and 5th grade. If you're not looking up here, then there's a problem. I'm sorry.
I think the difference between the families in America and the families in Uganda is that it's a lot more expensive to raise a child in America than it is in Uganda. Because what we do is the way that we raise our children is very natural. We live off the land, we live a simple life. We don't have extra things, we don't have privileges. We don't have a bunch of things that we don't need. We only have a limited amount of clothes that we're allowed to even have. Maybe if you have 5 outfits, then that's a lot for one person. It's a privilege to have clothes. It's a privilege to have water. It's a privilege to have things. We don't have a bunch of toys here. We just have, it is a privilege for us to even have a book to go to school. We have to buy our books, and they're very expensive. So it's more costly to raise a child in America than it is in Uganda, because we don't need all of those fancy things.
You need the children in your families to help work and grow the things to eat and take care of the animals and things like that.
Yes, we all work together as a family. And it takes a lot of people, a lot of children in one family to help work the gardens, to help take care of the animals, to help make sure that the house is kept clean and cooked. All of the children learn how to cook when they're 3 years old.
I think comparatively, in America, we have electricity, we have running water. Most of us have some sort of car for transportation. It is something that we, I think, take for granted in our house. It's a very unique situation if someone doesn't have electricity in their house or running water or plumbing. There's not very many families in the United States that don't have those things and that don't have some sort of transportation. We have busing systems if our families don't have cars. A lot of us, even in Ohio, where we grow a lot of corn and soybeans, a lot of our land comes that we use to grow crops to feed for exports and to keep in our country, to feed the people in our country. we still have a lot of large cities. So our families, for the most part, live in urban settings where we have bus transportation and things like that. So most of us live with all those luxuries. Our students play video games. They own video games. They have television sets where we watch TV and things like that. So we have a lot of luxuries.
We don't have any of those things in Uganda. The electricity is a privilege. Our electricity usually goes out every day. They call it load shedding. And it's rare that we have electricity for 2 days at a time. We do not have clean, pure water. We have to boil all of our water. Our water is contaminated. And we get a disease called typhoid fever from bad water. It is very common in Uganda. It is a privilege to have a television in a home, and very few people have a car, have transportation. Most Ugandans walk back and forth for long distances to make a living, and most children walk back and forth to school. We do not have public school buses. We have to walk. So we don't have all of those privileges that you all have. And most of the children in Uganda have never, ever, ever played a video game.
And then do you guys have like DVD systems, like movies? That's fun.
Do you watch movies?
We do have a DVD player in our home. My husband and I purchased it for our children, and we do play movies, but all of our movies are specially picked for our children to make sure that their minds and their hearts are not polluted from the world's pollution.
That's right.
What kind of drugs do they got?
Very cool. I think it's also fair to say that even though we have a lot of luxuries in America, we're still dealing with a lot of things in our area in Dayton, Ohio. We have a lot of drug problems and coping problems. And we have a lot of children in our school affected by heroin in our area. Do you have any of those problems in your area?
We have only you guys call it marijuana. We have marijuana problems over here in Uganda because it's easy to grow plants. But we don't have chemical drugs like you have over there, like heroin. The children, the average child in Uganda is very disciplined. They go to school until they're 18, 19, 20 years old. And then after that, that's when they start to live their life. So they're very disciplined. But we don't have those problems over here.
Oh, you see that?
Oh, 37.
Okay, I think we can do one more question here and then maybe one more question on your end, and then I think we might need to wrap things up. Is that okay?
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. Let's do little girl in orange. What's your name? What is it? Genesis. What is it? What are your activities? Since you don't have video games to play with, how do you play?
How do you play, girls? We don't have video games. We play sometimes rocks in the dirt. We play jump rope. We play, sometimes we take walks and can slide in the playground. But we just actually got a playground for our children, so now we have swings and we have a slide in our compound that we allow the girls to play. Sometimes they play cards. They do play cards, but most of the time they are studying. they want to be good at school, so they spend most of their extra time studying in the books that we have provided for them, which is a privilege in Uganda.
Wow.
Oh, I love reading. I love reading.
Okay, do you have any more questions for us?
Do you- What is the name of your capital city?
Well, because we're divided into states in the United States, the capital city of Ohio is Columbus. But our capital city of our country is Washington, D.C.
Wow.
And we know the capital of Uganda. What's the capital of Uganda?
We're smart.
Okay, well, we would love to keep going, but we have to continue our school day here. But it was such a pleasure talking to you, and I think that we would all love to do this again if that's okay with you guys.
Yeah, we have actually set aside Tuesdays.
Okay.
Your time. So it's 5 o'clock our time because we are 8 hours ahead of you. So we started this at 5 o'clock. So we've set a time from 5 to 6 o'clock in the evening just for you.
Oh, that's
And
great.
it will be on Tuesdays.
That is awesome. We will definitely do that. Maybe we'll even organize it here to where we have smaller groups so that we can get more talking in, and then we'll rotate those groups through so that everybody can kind of get a chance to be a little more personal.
Well, we also wanted to tell you that we actually talked to a couple of schools in Uganda, and what we would like to do is maybe do this at different schools in Uganda so you can have whole classes of students asking questions.
Oh, that would be wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
So our program in Uganda has already been approved. So we are going to be setting up those things with Mr. Nyheiser.
That is awesome.
Can you show us your outside?
Thank you.
Show us the outside.
I don't
See
think
the
they
outside?
can. Marisa.
Show us the outside.
They're on a computer. They can't move.
Let me do that for them. I'm going to do that.
Miss Cooley. What did you say?
Do you see the trees?
That's nice. That is nice right there. That is so nice. I
Do you
can
see
do
the
that.
mountain?
That is background.
That's what we live right at the bottom of the mountain, and these trees here, these are called Matoki trees. Matoki trees.
I want to see what the
That is wonderful.
Can you see the tree?
They want to see what the school building looks like.
Okay, we don't have a school. We have a house, and this is our house.
Oh, okay. So she teaches at her house.
And this is right here. Do you see this right here?
Yeah.
We also teach in this right here. This is our school.
Oh yeah, you said they were on the ground. But that's
Where's the playground? No, right there.
Do you see the playground?
Yeah.
These are some more of our children. This is Jennifer. This is Brian. This is Emma. This is Shipra.
So many. So many kids.
Can you see them?
They're beautiful.
Wonderful. So we will have some more opportunities to share some things with you. We also would like to share with you the schools in Uganda. And so we will be visiting other schools.
That is wonderful. We are really looking forward to it. We'll work on some things maybe to show you guys as well that we want you to see.
Can we see the teacher?
That would be awesome. I think our children would love that. So we just wanted to thank you for your time here in Uganda.
Thank
We want to say Miss Colleen, bless you. Bye bye.
Okay, hold on. I need everyone in the seat.
1937.
Okay.
Are standing. I need the number. You need to hear me. Okay, now you think. I don't want to hear a word, and I want to see every single one of your little eyes. Okay, so you learned a lot about how much they value education. Why do they value education so much? What is the reasoning behind that, Rachel?
Because it's hard for them to go to school because it's very expensive.
Not all of them go to school because it's very expensive. What about, was his name Cyrus?
Yeah.
What about, his story was he was actually on lakes that didn't move correctly, right? Going miles to school up mountains so that he could make it. And I just want you to remember that and keep that in your mind when you have to walk out to the bus stop, or when you have to come to school every day. The value of education. Do you value your education like they do? Would you rather live in a world or a country